And good morning and welcome to Sunday Square Off. On today's show, our left-right debate on the headlines of the week, the Florida massacre, the DACA stalemate, and more. Plus, you may not know what Bitcoin is, but the state might let you pay your taxes with it. We'll explain. You'll meet Arizona's first transgender candidate for Congress. She's running in the 8th Congressional District primary. And an update on that charter school shutdown we told you about last week. Why did the state charter school board let a failing school stay open? I tried to get some answers. But first, our left-right debate. On the left, Roy Herrera, attorney and former Democratic congressional aide. On the right, Barrett Marson, Republican political consultant. Good to see you both.
Good morning, Brian.
The news of the week, the horror at a Florida high school. 17 students, teacher, and staff dead in yet another massacre of innocents. What will it take for our politicians to do something, anything about this, Barrett?
You know, I really thought after Vegas they were going to do something on the bump stocks, the least that they could do, if you will. And even that bill has been tied up and just isn't really moving. So I just don't know that anything will be done, no matter who's in charge, Republicans or Democrats.
Democrats as well. Roy, you raised your eyebrows.
Yeah, I totally disagree with that. I think, you know, what makes me angry about this is that ultimately this is a choice that our society has made. We know there are things that we can do to try to prevent these kinds of tragedies from happening. Things like increasing background checks, banning assault weapons like the ones that were used this week, which are used for warfare, not for personal protection or hunting. But yet, the people that block this from happening are congressional Republicans repeatedly, over and over and over again. I mean, I was on this show during the Orlando shooting a year and a half ago. Since that shooting, there have been additional 500 mass shootings in America, including 6 this year in schools where someone was hurt or killed. And we haven't done anything. And you know, I'm kind of at a loss for words at this because we've had this conversation so many times. But I think the ultimate answer to counter Barrett's point is to vote congressional Republicans out and get Democrats in, because they will pass gun reform.
But there are a lot of Democrats in Congress, in the Senate, who, let's face it, are not willing to do even some of the more minor gun control legislation ideas that have come forward, because they are concerned about the ballot box as well. The NRA, we all know, is a very powerful group and has money and will spend it if they feel that they are being attacked.
So let's go to that. So the NRA, are they really that powerful a force?
I think they are. I mean, we see the campaign finance reports. We see the millions of dollars they give to senators and Congress people. They are very popular.
John McCain and Jeff Flake, big beneficiaries here.
Most importantly, I think Donald Trump.
Donald Trump, huge beneficiary.
So
they stood with him even after the Access Hollywood tape even.
That's right, and ultimately the answer is going to be here. If we are going to do something about this and stop having these conversations, it's time to stand up to the NRA, and it's time to stand up to the politicians that they've bought.
I just want to leave it here. Does the conversation need to change because you have what I call it, frankly, a ritualized slaughter, which we accept, followed by these ritualized, can't talk about it now, let's not politicize this, mental health, and yet nothing is done.
You know, I will say this one feels a little different because so many parents are actually talking. You didn't see parents after Columbine in this way. The students have done a lot of talking. The parents have done almost immediately a lot of talking. And I think they are showing this incredibly sad human face to this tragedy. So there may be some action that comes of this just because of the true emotion that is being shown. Time will tell. I'm not sure, but...
Let's go to the DACA stalemate. The Senate voted on 4 immigration deals last week. They didn't get enough votes to pass any of them. Interestingly, the 4 pillars that Donald Trump wanted got the fewest votes. So now DACA expires in 2 weeks. What's going to happen?
Well, there's some court cases that are going on right now at the Court of Appeals that have sort of stopped or at least delayed the end of DACA. Ultimately, that's going to get to the Supreme Court, and I'm not very confident that it's going to be successful there, given what we had in the DAPA decision earlier. But, you know, again, it's important to think about how we got here. You know, President Trump ended the program. He threw the baton over to Congress. Congressional Republicans, as usual, failed in trying to get this done. And here we are. And I'm not confident that we're going to be able to do this at least not with the standalone measure. And as we saw in the bills this week, they're trying to debate whether we should build a wall and have DACA. But I think we all agree. I think public opinion has shown that we believe that DACA should be fixed, and that these people who have been here for most of their lives should be allowed to stay.
Did Democrats blow their shutdown strategy?
Well, I mean, that's clear. I mean, that's not even up for debate. I don't think that there will be a standalone DACA bill. I just don't think that there is desire among Republicans. However, there is a desire to do some horse trading, and it's just a question of finding the right mix of what to trade for that DACA.
Well, I'll point out on that is President Trump's proposal received the least amount of votes out of the 4 options this week.
This is, do you see, will DACA just go away? Will just quietly go away? Yes or no? We got to end, but yes or no? Will DACA just quietly go away and these young people face deportation? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe yes this year, but again, we have an election in November, and so perhaps things will change.
All right.